Good afternoon, Chris Whelan here from the Centre of Business Excellence, Building Better Businesses. We're on day 10 of our 20-day series of how to grow your business in a financial pinch. As you know, if you've been watching, if you've been following the series of videos and articles, these are designed purely to give you a set of tools that you can use in your business, some of which will apply to you, some of which won't, but you'll have 20 that you can use and choose as you go. If they're not for you, but you know someone else, make sure you share it with them, because the whole purpose behind this 20-part series of video and an article every single day is to make sure that we help everyone in our business community thrive. We're all in this together in some respects, although we're not in the same boat necessarily, but we're all in the same, I guess, at the same time, in the same storm. So that's what this is about. We're on day 10, and day 10 is all about optimizing inventory management. You'll know that yesterday we spoke about 90-day plans. That's a planning technique, planning tool. And today I want to talk to you about optimizing inventory management. Once again, three areas that I think you should be focusing on. Firstly, categorizing your inventory, so knowing what's what, knowing which items are fast moving, which items are slower moving. If you've got dead stock, now if you're a service-based business, that might be a little different. But then you might want to be looking at which of your services actually get the most return, which are the most popular. If you're a product-based business, obviously that applies directly to you. But as I say, it applies equally to a service business, because if you're doing things, if you're offering services that no one's buying, well, then you might want to, that would be considered dead stock. That's the first point. The second point is just-in-time practices. Again, mostly for a product-based business, you want to reduce your holding costs when you can. And I'll have a comment to make about that, a lesson coming out of the pandemic, but a comment based on that, because everyone talks about reducing your stock holdings, but sometimes when you think about how to do that. And then the third area is to implement automatic reordering, right? So making sure that you're not having to every single time go into a full stock take. You want to use technology to manage your inventory levels. Particularly, I suppose in this case, I'm talking to service-based businesses, things like in the trades, whether you're a plumber or an electrician or a baker, if you're a manufacturer, and I suppose it's not just trades, it expands quite widely. Anything that uses products, anything that uses stock. If you're running a restaurant, you're running a cafe, you want to make sure that you're not having to rely on manual intervention all the time. So when you implement automated reordering, it becomes much easier. So those are the three broad areas in this issue, this area of optimizing your stock holding. In terms of the 5-step process, I've spoken before about I want to give you practical strategies to use. Number one, categorize the inventory. I've said that already. Make sure that you segment it based on turnover, right? So which of your services provide you, if you use the 80-20 rule, which we spoke about the other day, which of the 20% of your services or 20% of your products actually give you 80% of your revenue and similarly 80% of your profit. And once you prioritize that based on your high, what effectively becomes your high value items, you know where to adjust. If you're let's say in a restaurant or a cafe, or you're running a store, whether it be online or physically on the high street, you can then actually reposition your offering to make sure that you can get the slow movers out of the door quickly. You might want to discount them. I'm not particularly big on discounting, but you might want to consider that. But certainly you want to position them. You want to merchandise your store, as I say, whether it's virtual or whether it's physical. You want to merchandise it so that those slow-moving items can get out. And then you're not holding stock, which is dead. So that's the first point. Second point, is to set your stock levels based on demand. I'm working with a client at the moment, a big retail business, and they've realized through the business intelligence capability that we're building, they've realized that they've got stock on their system and in their shop, which is really not demand driven. It's because the store managers want to have particular stock, or they think they need that particular stock. There's a real problem with that, because effectively, again, that's also redundant. It's not moving fast, and it's taking up space for items that could be moving fast and could be making them more money. So you want to make sure that you understand your demand, right? And whether you're a retail store or, again, a service-based business or a product-based business, you want to understand that, and make sure that you've got whatever your stock is, make sure you've got the ones that generate you the most revenue, the most profit there, based on recognized, measured, tested customer demand. So that's the third point. Sorry, the second point. The third point then is to, as I've indicated or hinted at already, I want to say get rid of, but make sure that you sell off slow-moving stock as quickly as you can, right? It does a number of things. It generates cash flow, obviously, that otherwise would just be sitting on your shelf, proverbially. It frees up the shelf, of course, and it clears your head because you're not having to think about, hang on, I've got all this stock sitting over there. What do I do with it? And particularly in a financial pinch, which is what we're talking about, getting cash in the door becomes massively important. If you missed the article or the video on cash flow, which is the first one we did, go back to that and have a look, and you'll see what I'm talking about there. So make sure you get those slow-moving items out the door as quickly as you can. Strategy number 4, implement what I call JIT practices, just in time. What do I mean by that? Get in touch with your suppliers if you're a product-based business. If you, let's just say you're a cafe down the road, get in touch with your baker, get in touch with your coffee supplier, get in touch with the people that supply your meat or your wines or whatever it is that you sell, and make sure that they are ready to give you the stuff you need when you need it. Now, how do you do that? Well, you need to make sure that your demand is known, right? So you can accurately measure your demand. Then you can speak to your suppliers. And so that supply chain, if you like, becomes much more robust, much more practically oriented in data-driven decisions. If you get it right, what's the benefit of it? Well, quite simply, your suppliers are absolutely happy because they know exactly what to manufacture when. Your customers are happy because you are giving them what they want when they want it. And of course, you're going to be happy because your waste is going to go down as well, right? And that applies, I'm using it as a cafe or restaurant example, but it applies in every industry, or certainly in most industries. So make sure you get those just-in-time practices right. Again, of course, it also reduces your inventory holding cost. But one of the big things I've seen with a number of my clients is that it reduces waste. And that waste, in whatever form that comes, is just a drain on your business and something you totally want to get rid of. So item number 5, monitor your inventory turnover rates. If you don't know how many times you turn your stock, whether, again, I suppose that applies less to a service business, but if you're a product-based business, whether in any industry, and you don't know your stock turns, you're going to have a real challenge because you might have too much, you might have too little. If you have too much, you get waste. If you have too little, well, hang on, you can't meet customer demand. If you can't meet customer demand, you ain't going to have enough customers because and even if you did, you can't bill them because you can't do the work. So make sure that you know your turnover rates. Track them at least monthly. Ideally, you want to have a stock or a stock tracking system, an inventory tracking system that gives you real-time data, and that's entirely possible. If that's something of interest to you, let me know. Grab some time in my diary. Let's work on to figure it out in your business. A couple of examples, and I've kind of touched on them already in terms of restaurants just in time, and I can give you chapter and verse on coffee demand, on baking demand, on meat demand, all those things in a restaurant. Absolutely vital. A couple of examples around here in Wellington that I've been chatting with people about, and similarly, physical stores both here in Wellington and across the country. So again, if that's of interest to you, let me know. As I grab some time in my diary, and I would really love your comments and feedback. We're on day 10 now. I'd love your comments and feedback either in the link below or just drop me an email, because I want to make sure that this is tailored to you. And one of the good practices I encourage my clients to do, and I want to do the same, is to make sure that I get feedback. So let me know what you're thinking. Let me know whether this is working for you, what you want adjusted. If there's particular topics and subjects that I haven't covered in the next little while, let me know that as well so I can tailor this to you. Have a fantastic day. See you soon. Bye-bye.